We just opened the,
Let her slide, Aaron.
they're just transitioning. Give them a minute to
I
get
thought
the
this was mine.
placards
Did
going.
you just change it?
Did you change it?
Did you just change mine?
1 minute, sorry.
Oh, they don't have them yet. No, I don't know what it is. Oh, that's from the solid waste.
Is that you?
That's good on my
Ready now?
resume.
Yes?
I'm the
Let
chairman
me just.
Well, that's cool.
of the solid waste. How's the campaign?
Well, you know.
Oh, I think it's all right. Who knows? Should be.
We're still working on the devices. If they work, we'll get them out.
Yeah, not a problem.
Yeah, right now we're getting them out of your way.
Going old school today, you heard, right?
Perfect.
Can we get a paper agenda then?
Absolutely, they're right here.
So we can get this road on the show.
That's what I said, I'm ready. Everybody ready?
I'm born ready. Hit that gavel, baby.
11:23.
Oh, my God.
I know. I'm going to call the meeting of the Public Health and Safety Committee to order at 11:23. Roll call, please.
I answer.
Powell,
Here.
Hoffman,
Here.
McGilvray,
Here.
Jackson,
Here.
Nelson. Did she leave? Cavell.
Here.
Gingell is absent with notice. Kuhn.
Here.
Luz.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Please join me in rising for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have 2 committee minutes to approve from September 13th and September 29th. I need a motion to approve the minutes. I have a motion by Commissioner Hoffman, support from Commissioner Cavell. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Our minutes are approved. Next up is approval of the agenda. There are items on the agenda under communications and our regular agenda item. We need a motion to approve the agenda. We have a motion by Commissioner Cavell, support from Commissioner McGilvray. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The agenda is approved. We've arrived at our first public comment. This is for comment items on the agenda. Is there anyone from the public wishing to comment on items on the agenda?
I'm so sorry. Gershenson is here.
Do you want to call it now? All right, public comment is closed, and we're returning to roll call for 1 moment.
Gershenson? Here. Thank you. So sorry.
No problem.
Then she leaves.
Our next item is communications. There are 5 items under communications. First, the Q3 report from Oakland Together Mental Health and Wellbeing Nonprofit Grant, the Haven Quarterly Report, July through September 2022, the Animal Shelter and Pet Adoption Center Report from August 2022, a grant application exception with the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services for Anti-Terrorism Emergency Assistance Program from the Prosecuting Attorney's Office. The last item from front of the court is a grant application with the Michigan State Court Administrative Office for the fiscal year 2023 Access and Visitation Grant Program. All right, everybody knows by now we need a motion for communications, right?
Receive and file.
Thank you.
I had a question though.
Oh, sure. Well, yes, that comes after the motion and
Oh,
the
right,
second.
right, right, okay.
Okay, who's seconding it? Okay, motion by Commissioner Hoffman, support from Commissioner McGilvray. Commissioner Powell, what's your question?
The Oakland Together nonprofit grant quarter report, that will be shared with commissioners, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And it
I just
should
wanna
be
look
up
at
here,
it.
except we're having technology problems.
Oh, yeah, no,
And
it's
we have a
fine.
short meeting after this, if you'd like to stay.
But okay.
Thank you.
You can pull the packet up from the website as well.
Okay.
Oh, okay, so
Well,
it is
if
on
our
there. Okay, I was just
computer's
making
on the
sure.
website.
Okay, thank you.
And any other comments regarding communications? All in favor to receive and file communications, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, communications is approved. We move on to our regular agenda item from Health and Human Services, the interlocal agreement with the City of Detroit for the Ryan White HIV/AIDS Treatment Extension Act of 2009 program. I have a motion by Commissioner Cavell, support from Commissioner Powell, and we have Leanne Stafford here to talk about this item. Hi, Leanne. It says you're muted. Oh, we
go.
muted you, sorry.
You want to call her one more time?
All
I
right,
don't know if
do-
she's on.
Leanne?
There she
Oh.
is.
There she is.
I'm here. Sorry about that. We couldn't hear you. All right. Perfect. Thank you for having us here. We are here today to talk about the Ryan White MOU. I also have with me Liz, which is part of the HIV program and oversees those efforts. So this request is to enter into an MOA with the City of Detroit, as well as some regional partners that actually offer Ryan White services. So that's HIV services, direct services. The Health Division does not provide those services. And so what we do is we work with our partners that are in the community that can provide those direct services to those individuals. So this MOU just enters in City of Detroit. They receive the money and are basically the fiduciaries for that and work with the regional partners for that. So this is just a request to enter into that agreement with them. This is something we've done just about every year for a while now. And I think these agreements sometimes are annual and sometimes every 2 years.
Thank you. Any comments or questions regarding this item? Roll call, please.
Powell,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
McGilvray,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Cavell,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Gershenson,
Yes.
Lubes.
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion carries. Thank you, Leanne. Our next item is from the Indigent Defense Grant Acceptance from the State of Michigan for the fiscal year 2023 Michigan Indigent Defense Commission Grant. I have a motion by Commissioner Hoffman, support from Commissioner Jackson. And our presenter is Pete Mena. Welcome.
Thank you, Commissioners. As it happens, the MIDC is meeting at this exact same time, and I'm here instead of there because they don't let you talk about your own grant anyway. They only let you make public comments. So we are on their agenda for approval today. If you remember, I came to you in the spring with the grant application resolution. Not much has changed since the application. We had to tweak a few things when it came to our attorney fee numbers based on what our docket numbers showed. But essentially, this is a $16 million total budget. About $14 million of that comes from the state in the form of this grant, and about $2 million of that comes from the county general fund, which is our statutory local share. What's very interesting about this year is the significant changes that we're making to our system, which is increasing attorney compensation for our independent contractor attorneys, and also creating our in-house public defender's office, which we plan to have up and running by this spring. We will be getting in a couple weeks a final copy of a report that we commissioned through the Sixth Amendment Center. And over the last year to 18 months, they've been really studying our indigent defense system, making recommendations to us about where our shortfalls are, the improvements that we should be making in our system. And so I'm happy to report that in this fiscal year and through this grant, we are able to make some of the changes that they are recommending. And then, of course, the other ones, we will be working hard through this year and next year to figure out how we can implement those changes as well, with the goal of making our indigent defense system the best in the state, as it should be. So with that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? Commissioner Cavell?
Thank you, Chair. This is really cool, Pete. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Like, way to go.
Thank you.
Does this then bode well for subsequent years' funding, right? If we were able to get $14 million this year from the state, there's not a very high likelihood that they'll cut it to $10 million next year or anything like that?
Right. Yes, absolutely. I mean, essentially, they are required to fund that money that is necessary for indigent defense. I think that as what we will see through subsequent fiscal years is they will want us to increase the number of people who are in our public defender's office, and they will fund those increases. Question for us is going to be what capacity can we have internally versus externally, and of course we got to figure all those things out. But I do think this bodes very well for the future. The state wants people to be moving in this direction, and they're funding it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Hoffman.
Yes.
McGilvray.
Yes.
Jackson.
Yes.
Nelson. Cavell.
Yes.
Kuhn.
No.
Gershenson.
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes.
Powell.
Yes.
Lubes.
Yes.
You have 8 yeas, 1 nay.
All right, motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. Our next item is from the Sheriff's Office, grant acceptance from the Federal Bureau of Investigation for the fiscal year 2023 Gang and Violent Crime Safe Streets Task Force. I have a motion by Commissioner Nelson, support from Commissioner McGilvery. And we have Under Sheriff and Guy Peer here to address this item.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so we have a bunch of grants for you to accept today. So tis the season at the end of the fiscal year, end of one fiscal year, beginning of the new fiscal year. So this is our annual amount. The overtime maximum amount this year is $19,840.75. There's no match required, and this task force, we have a detective assigned to it.
Thank you. Any questions? Roll call, please.
McGilvray.
Yes.
Jackson.
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes.
Cavell.
Yes.
Kuhn.
Yes.
Gershenson.
Yes.
Powell.
Yes.
Hoffman.
Yes.
Lubes.
Yes.
You have 9 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion carries. Thank you. You are correct. You are not going anywhere. Our next item from the Sheriff's Office is a grant acceptance from the Federal Bureau of Investigation for the fiscal year 2023 Joint Terrorism Task Force. A motion by Commissioner Nelson, support from Commissioner Powell.
Okay, so this is another one, it's the same federal rate. The overtime maximum amount is $19,840.75, also with no match, and we have a sergeant assigned to this task force.
Thank you. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Jackson.
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes.
Cavell.
Yes.
Kuhn.
Yes.
Gershenson.
Yes.
Powell.
Yes.
Hoffman.
Yes.
McGilvray.
Yes.
Lubes.
Yes.
9 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion carries. The next grant acceptance from the Sheriff's Office, by the Sheriff's Office, is from the U.S. Department of Justice for the fiscal year 2022 Comprehensive Opiate Stimulant and Substance Abuse Site-Based Program. I have a motion by Commissioner Hoffman, support from Commissioner Powell.
Okay, so this one is new funding, actually, in the amount a little over 1.4 million, covering 3 years. So this is to enhance and expand our crisis intervention team training, and also to create a countywide crisis response unit for mental health needs. We're asking to create 1 sergeant and 2 deputy 2s. It will also cover overtime and travel costs for that time period.
Where would this program, if you have a crisis response unit, where are they where will they be located? What building?
Well, right now, our emergency response and preparedness captain is overseeing this, but it's going to be in coordination, let's see here, because we have the 12 communities that we contract with, and then 39 other local law enforcement agencies, but it will be headquartered probably in our 38 East building right here on campus.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Cavell?
Is this modeled off of what Lieutenant Workman has been working on?
Yeah, Captain Hill is overseeing this, so yes,
Nice.
their whole. Mhm.
Oh, this is awesome. This
Yeah,
is really
so-
cool. And if they don't get all the money, we should figure out how to help with this from county money or ARPA.
Yes, so
Any
we are
other-
very happy to get this, because obviously
Yeah.
we applied for it a while ago, and
Yeah.
it's a substantial amount to
Yep.
enhance the program, so.
Any other comment? Roll call, please.
Nelson,
Yes.
Cavell,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes?
Gershenson,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
McGilvray,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Lubes.
Yes.
We have 9 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you, motion carries. Next item from the Sheriff's Office is a grant acceptance from the U.S. Department of Justice for the fiscal year 2022 Office of Community-Oriented Policing Services Technology and Equipment Program. I have a motion by Commissioner Gershenson, support from Commissioner Hoffman.
Okay, this is also new funding in the amount of $1 million for the body-worn camera program. It's going to fund positions and equipment, and then some additional IT costs that are needed. We'll have 3 positions in the sheriff's office. One will be dedicated to hardware installation and troubleshooting and maintenance, and then 2 additional positions for Freedom of Information Act requests, and then 1 position in the prosecuting attorney's office.
Thank you. Commissioner Hoffman?
I have a question. 2 positions to answer FOIA requests.
2 additional, yes, because we already have.
Do we anticipate you
Oh,
get
we're
that
already-
many?
Yes, we're,
As a full-
we are bombarded with it already, so yes, it's, because you have to redact a ton of, especially with video, I mean, we have to redact already, but then once we get all of this, hours and hours and hours for each deputy, it's, yeah, we don't think that's enough, but this is a start for the amount of money that we have, so,
Wow.
yes.
Yep. I'm
You-
not surprised.
This is a huge endeavor.
Commissioner Nelson, followed by Commissioner McGilvery.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to lead in with some clarifying question before I get to my actual question, which I think you'll see how it fits together. First and foremost, where are we at within the implementation of the body-worn cameras?
It has begun. We've started off, we have them deployed in Pontiac and Addison Township.
Okay.
We have to slow down the rollout a little bit because the garage can't keep up with the car installations that we need for the chargers and uploading. So the next step will be the jail and the courts, and then we're going to continue on with the rest of our substations.
Okay. And is funding still a barrier for the full implementation from what you said with installation of whatever's needed in the vehicles and the body-worn cameras itself? Is funding still a barrier to the full implementation of body-worn cameras across Oakland County?
Not for the equipment, because obviously you passed a resolution back last December that started the implementation.
Correct.
Once we get that, I mean, we anticipate that we're going to need more support staff, and that's been communicated from the beginning. We started out with 2 positions, and I can't remember how many in the prosecutor's office, but we had 2. One a technical office specialist for the FOIA, and then 1 other person for hardware, but obviously it's a huge undertaking. So obviously, until we get data and we know, we will be back probably, I'd say sometime in the future, once the program gets completely implemented. But at this point in time, this was federal dollars that came from, I believe it was Stabenow office. That's where this $1 million came from. So that's in addition to what we've already passed with that resolution last December.
I see. So within the resolution, in the 3rd whereas clause, it breaks down that this grant funding will be used to create the various different positions as listed out. Is it fair to say that more of this grant money is going to positions rather than technology and equipment?
Yes.
Okay. No further questions. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner McGilvery?
Yes, this program is only for deputy sheriffs, correct? It's not out there for the local communities?
For this funding?
Yes.
Yes, this is just for Oakland County. This was,
And as far as a FOIA request, you say you're adding 2 additional people? And that's open to the public as well, obviously, right, the FOIA request? Okay. All right, thank you.
Commissioner Cavell?
Yeah, this might be a bit of a non sequitur, but this is Captain Schneider's kind of unit, right?
Yes.
So I just want to FYI for everyone then. Captain Schneider, myself, and a couple of other folks have worked on the smart communications contract, which is the jail phone calls. So Captain Schneider worked on a way to get our phone contract for inmates to offer a cheaper rate, and so we've handed that over to the county executive's office because that's their purview, contracts and all that. But just want to let you know that the sheriff's office and a couple commissioners are interested in making phone calls cheaper, and the sheriff's office got the phone call contractor to be willing to make phone calls cheaper. So that's just something for us as a FYI and to keep track of as we go forward.
Thank you. Any other comments about this particular item? Roll call, please.
Cavell.
Yes.
Kuhn.
Yes.
Gershenson.
Yes.
Powell.
Yes.
Hoffman.
Yes.
McGilvray.
Yes.
Jackson.
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes.
Lubes.
Yes.
You have 9 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion carries, thank you. Our next item from the Sheriff's Office is a grant acceptance from the Michigan Department of State Police for the fiscal year 2023 pedestrian and bicycle overtime enforcement. I have a motion by Commissioner Nelson, support from Commissioner Jackson.
Okay, so this is a total of $20,645 for bicycle and pedestrian safety enforcement in the city of Pontiac. It's $16,516 in federal dollars with a $4,129 general fund match, and it provides overtime for traffic enforcement to ensure bicycle and pedestrian safety in the city.
Thank you. Comments or questions about this item? Commissioner Hoffman?
Is that really necessary?
Yeah, I think they have some pretty serious
Traffic problems in Pontiac, for sure.
Absolutely.
pedestrian
Yes.
specifically.
Yes, it goes
No.
down in Pontiac, Hoffman.
You'd be-
I need everything there.
You know better than me.
Yes, but,
Okay.
and I know you're supportive when you know I know. So thank you for your vote.
Anything else? Roll call, please.
Kuhn.
Yes.
Gershenson.
Yes.
Powell.
Absolutely, yes.
Hoffman.
Absolutely, yes.
McGilvray.
Yes.
Jackson.
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes.
Cavell.
Yes.
Lubes.
Yes.
You have 9 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion carries, thank you. Next to last items from the Sheriff's Office is a grant acceptance from the U.S. Department of Justice for the fiscal year 2022 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant Program. I have a motion by Commissioner Hoffman, support from Commissioner McGilvray.
Okay, so this is the annual Department of Justice grant. It's usually split between multiple departments within the county. The total grant this year is $84,918. The Sheriff's Office will be utilizing $61,918 of that to purchase medical kits and for new headsets for the new radio system for our motorcycle unit. There's also $20,000 in there for public services. They want to implement a hate crimes initiative, and then $3,000 for the prosecuting attorney for file storage units.
Thank you. Comments on this item? All right, roll call, please.
Gershenson.
Yes.
Powell.
Yes.
Hoffman.
Yes.
McGilvray.
Yes.
Jackson.
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes.
Cavell.
Yes.
Kuhn.
Yes.
Lubes.
Yes.
You have 9 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion carries. The last item is the fun item. So, from the Sheriff's Office, a donation acceptance of 2 support canine dogs, Woody and Colt. I have a motion by Commissioner Powell, support from Commissioner Gershenson.
2 more puppies. So Woody will be assigned to, or is assigned to a school resource officer at the Brandon Township substation. And Colt is assigned to a deputy in patrol services who does crash investigations and death notices.
Thank you. Commissioner Powell?
Are these dogs, do they look like the other ones we got? Oh, is it from the same family?
Well, the
I'm
same-
being nice. I'm not even a dog lover. I'm just being nice. And I think they're so cute, at least. But I'm afraid of dogs. But anyway.
But their little faces are so.
I know they are so cute.
So cute.
So it's the same, where, did they come from the same family?
Same breeder, yes.
Oh, same, okay, cool. So we got a whole clan. That's great.
And actually, I can't remember which one has a little less,
I think it's cold.
is it Colt that has more caramel? Looks like Rottweiler coloring a little bit, like the caramel color in the dark versus the, like a lot of them have the white face and then, so just one of them's a little bit different, but yeah, they're all the same. They're adorable.
Cool.
You have to take them home because they're not housebroken.
No, I don't. And I see mine, her name, Sadie. We have Sadie.
Anything else? Roll call, please.
Powell,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
McGilvray. Jackson. Yes. Nelson,
Yes.
Cavell,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Gershenson,
Yes.
Lubes.
Yes.
You have 9 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you for your support.
Oh, thank you both for staying with us. We move on to public comments. So this is for any item you wish to talk about. Anyone from the public wishing to comment today? So you would state your name and community you're from.
Good morning. Thank you so much for allowing me time to talk. My name is Jenna Berg. I live in Farmington Hills, obviously resident of Oakland County. I'm also a sheriff's deputy, work for Under Sheriff Childs. I work midnight shift in the main jail. This is my partner, Ryan Summers. We both work in the main jail. I'm here today to introduce you to the deputies who stood beside me through the pandemic. These deputies and dispatchers kept your community safe without hesitation. These deputies ran procedures in your county jail. I am here today because the people wearing the sheriff's badge are good, kind-hearted people who have sworn to protect and serve. And when asked to, they did the tasks no one else would do. When asked to, they went above and beyond. Federal orders, state orders, all mirrored a simple fact. If you worked the front lines, these orders did not apply to you. I sit here today as a single deputy, well, 2 deputies. What you should see when you look at us is the presence of more than 660 deputies who worked through COVID. Add now to this number their immediate family members and all the people affected as a part of their frontline service. These people laced up their boots and did the jobs that had to be done when the world stayed home. These are my partners. There were more of us when it all started, and that is part of why I am here. We are losing too many. Oakland County has always had the reputation of employing the best of the best, and I believe that to still be true. But like everywhere else, we are struggling to retain. People are tired and overworked. The difference in our field from every other help wanted sign you see is the reality that our job tends to be a calling. We don't do it for the money. It has never been a job, but a career that comes with pride in self, pride in community, and pride in choosing right over wrong. I am asking you to listen to our story. Help me show my partners how appreciated they are. Truth is, I am proud to stand beside any one of them. During COVID, beginning March of 2020, deputies were forced to work an additional 18,000 shifts in county. They were forced to work above and beyond by over 110,000 hours. I am prepared to provide you with a frontline perspective that will really open your eyes to what the pandemic was like for our sheriff's deputies. On May 13th, 2022, President Biden announced a $10 billion ARPA funds committed to public safety. His increased investment was noted to include $1 billion in bonus for frontline public safety workers to help recruit and retain these public servants. A fact sheet that came out of the White House in May of 2022 states President Biden issues a call for state and local leaders to dedicate more American Rescue Plan funding to make our communities safer and deploy these dollars quickly. Again, I am prepared to present to you why your deputies are the exact reason President Biden appropriated this money. When the world was told to stay home, we showed up like normal, but that was where normal ended. Dispatchers still worked in close quarters. Peace officers answered the calls promising help was never far away. Special units responded to call-outs. Court services remained open. And then there were the close quarters of the Oakland County Jail. When COVID started, we housed over 1,200 residents in the jail. When no one showed up to prepare meals, deputies fed. When no one showed up to clean, deputies cleaned. When no one showed up to do laundry, deputies did laundry. Keep in mind, June of 2020 hit our field hard, and deputies continued to do the work while being disrespected, chastised, and humiliated by society. It didn't matter whether the world saw law enforcement as heroes or villains. The call to serve still got answered. There is more, and I want you to see how truly special the sheriff's deputies are. I want to show you their worth and all they did to step up for over 2.5 years. These amazing people deserve it, and their families deserve it. All I am asking for is an opportunity to continue this discussion. I am asking for the opportunity to be put on the agenda for the next committee meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have one son who works in a prison, and for the last year, he's had mandatory overtime 3 times a week.
Yes.
To work 16 hours a day. He has no life. And on top of that, he's had COVID 4 times.
Oh, wow.
The jail still at times continues to be under quarantine. So I do hear what you're saying and talking about. Commissioner Powell?
Well, I was gonna say, I know protocol, we can't communicate with them, but can we just discuss a little bit after you know, sorry, we not to directly communicate for the meeting purposes?
It's up to the chair, if you can or cannot.
Oh, so can we ask questions?
Well, of course.
Okay, thank you. I didn't know that. Y'all learned something every.
Should ask me.
So you're asking for a meeting, and the meeting will then, you'll have direct ask of us? Dollar amounts? I'm just trying to get a little details of what the direct ask is gonna be. Is it asking for more funding to help with the sheriff's department? Like, what are you aiming for?
Let me just say yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I don't know, okay? I just am appreciative to be here and speak to you. Ms. Christensen's been super supportive and, you know, at least guiding me through this process. But yes, what I would love to see is we love what we do, and we of course had to step up, you know, and like everyone else, right? All first responders, we're no different. But what about us too? And I'd love an opportunity to just show you how great the people that work for Under Sheriff Childs and Sheriff Bouchard are, and all the different ways they stepped up. And if there's American Rescue Plan Act funding available for this reason, they deserve it.
Well, I'm gonna say thank you for coming before us, and I wanna say, because as employees, sometimes it can be very intimidating to come and speak.
I'm very
when we
nervous
know
right now.
certain. Oh yeah, I know you are. Especially coming from the sheriff's department.
Well, and both
and
of
I'm
us
gonna say
were
this: I'm an
forced
avid
this morning.
supporter, and they can
Thank
vouch.
you.
I'm a very avid supporter of the sheriff's department. I represent Pontiac, and that's all I'm gonna say to you. So you know, I have to be very supportive of the sheriffs. And as an employee, because everybody in here know I support work staff first, because our leadership can do nothing without the support staff, right? So I'm going to ask for our chair to please allow us to have this meeting or get them on our agenda so we can discuss this with the sheriffs to see what is going on and what is the additional needs that we need to help our workers, because I will let it be known, your Sheriff Bouchard has came before us, though, and told us and gave us the statistics of what's going on with the department overall. So it is on our radar at least, so you know that at least leadership is at least informing us. But you're right, the funding part is what we got to think about holistically on a lot of measures. But I want to say thank you, because it starts with you. Somebody got to say something or we won't know nothing. And I always encourage workers to talk to commissioners. Now, it is a line of protocol,
Sure.
But sometimes you got to go out of protocol, because I've been that person. I've never followed the rules, but when I see unfairness or see something wrong that's caution with workers, I've always stood up to talk, even if I knew I may lose the job for defending my coworkers, right? So thank you, and I hope we get them this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Hoffman.
I just want to say, I understand how nervous you are because I feel the same way every time you guys pull me over. You guys are, you're represented by a bargaining unit too, right?
Yes, sir.
Has your contract been settled or are you negotiating now? I don't know when it ends and starts.
It's been settled, yes.
It's settled?
Settled, yes.
Okay.
Yep, I think
Just
it was
curious.
effective in 22. Yeah, it's settled.
Okay, thank you, and very well said too, Ellen.
Yes,
Compliment
thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner McGilvery?
Just a comment. First of all, I want to say thanks to the sheriff's deputies all over the county, all the local police departments who have been under stress and strain for a long time during COVID, whether it be extended overtime hours, the possibility of bringing COVID back to your family, and on and on. I mean, so we certainly appreciate all of your services. I think the proper protocol would be for the sheriff's department, if indeed there's ARPA funding and it's available, that the sheriff should present it to this committee in the way of a resolution, and we can go that route. I mean, I agree that they deserve it. It's just a matter of following the process.
Yep, agree.
That was going to be my comment. You opened up the door, it's up to us to explore.
Can I say
I
one?
would like to
Charles, here
say,
he
we'll be
is.
in touch, and it's not like checks in the
Charles,
mail. Commissioner Cavell?
Yeah, why did you come here? I mean, like, we all appreciate you and we're all saying thank you, but like, we just gave you, if you're looking for money, you just got a 5% raise, 3% next year in the budget, a 14 and 6, like, employee contribution, which is like kind of reintroducing a pension. So, is there a reason you're here instead of going through the proper channels? Are you shaking things up? Is it what, you know?
Well, I guess I don't know that I'm not going through the proper channels. I'm trying to do this the right way, and excuse my ignorance and how this whole thing works. I've been trying to learn.
Yeah.
My answer to that is part of what I hope to present to you guys is when I say when everyone stayed home, that includes all of the services that help make the sheriff's department run.
Yeah.
Laundry, cleaning, assistance on the road, additional staffing for dispatchers and courts, and all the above. So it's the double and triple duties the deputies were doing on a daily basis, above and beyond, that kept everything running.
Yeah.
And taking what was like a 15-minute speech and kind of respectfully bringing it down to give you guys just a little pinch of what I'm trying to say. There's a lot more to it, and the past 2.5 years for the sheriff's department and the running and the front lines and making everything work has been taxing, and losing staff for lots of reasons, and struggling to recruit and all the above. It's just been those of us hanging on, those of us working, the 700 of us. It's been a good couple years, and so I'd love an opportunity to explain to you all the additional jobs and duties that we did.
Commissioner
Really
Christensen?
held together.
So when I was contacted by Ms. Berg, I didn't know proper procedure either. So I knew there was a union. I knew that I needed to contact Under Sheriff Childs. I knew that we wanted him to talk to Sheriff Bouchard. So this is new territory, but public comment is open to everyone. And so they are going to be requesting ARPA funding. And I thought, well, come to public comment and ask to be put on the agenda. And so everyone everyone knows about this. Their union knows about this. I've been contacted by them to say it's okay for them to come talk. Sheriff Child, Under Sheriff knows about it. I'm assuming Sheriff knows about it. So I tried to hit all the proper channels to get to this point.
It's very important to do it the right way.
Commissioner Nelson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate you speaking in public comment. It's not easy, right? And at the end of the day, sometimes you try to figure out what is the right avenue, and sometimes all avenues seem right when you want to be heard, right? So I definitely don't see any harm in speaking in public comment, first and foremost. My question, I guess, Madam Chair, from a process procedure, because we're all learning, right? From a process procedure perspective, is it right to think that the sheriff's department should be coming forward with a resolution?
That's what Commissioner McGilvery
But
mentioned
would that be the,
earlier. So what needs to happen is we, as a body, need to decide, what she's asking is to be on the agenda. We can put her on the agenda for next time, we can do our due diligence by talking to the different parties, or we can say at this point, let us do our due diligence first, and then we'll get back to you. Is that Commissioner McGilvery?
I just have a concern with us putting her on the agenda. You're welcome to be here for public comment, but as employees, I don't know that we should be the one negotiating with
Yep.
union folks.
that's correct.
That's up to the sheriffs and the HR department. So I have a little concern with that. Do I think that they should get more additional dollars if ARPA meets those, the right to use ARPA dollars for that? Yes, I'm in favor of that. But I want to make sure we follow the right procedure.
Commissioner Powell?
So can, since Under Sheriff Childs is the undersheriff that we discuss as commissioners things, he sees that one of their employees are here with the request. Can Under Sheriff Childs let us know what should be protocol, be it he's heard it, and he can kind of enlighten both sides to let us know what next steps will be? Chair?
We can ask. Here's what I see, because this is an unknown to us. We are grateful that you, even though it's anxiety producing, that you felt comfortable enough to approach us to do this. Commissioner McGilvery and Nelson have a point that it needs to be brought forth by the sheriffs as the appropriate. So, again, as a body, what do we want to do? So, I don't know if undersheriff is comfortable now or putting him on the spot to answer that. So these are questions we need to find out in the next week to be able to add or not add to the agenda.
Perfect, that's fine.
Commissioner Hoffman.
All the points are well taken. I appreciate Gary's comments. They are represented by a bargaining unit. They're not the only bargaining unit in the sheriff department. So I think that the channel would be to go through your union representatives and maybe work with the sheriff, and I might be wrong about that, but I don't think so. I think that we can't get involved in any kind of negotiations. Now, if the Board of Commissioners as a group want to come up with some program and I think we did it with the overtime during the pandemic, right? And I mean, we can do programs like that, but I think we really have to be conscious of the bargaining unit and that we don't inject ourselves where it'll screw the process up or set some kind of precedent.
Commissioner Cavell.
Well, and also, I think you're assuming we know what the ask is, because what we heard was we want to know how hard they're working. They just approved a contract, which again, basically reinstates a pension for these folks and gives them a 5% raise this year and a 3% raise next year. So they might not be asking for an overtime fund. We don't know what the ask is.
No, that was an example of what we've done in the past with ARPA funds.
Gotcha.
Right.
So, and I agree that kind of going through the process, talk to this guy right here about what you need, and then he'll figure out how to work it up the channels.
Commissioner Jackson.
I think what's going on today is just illustrative of where we are. We're at crossroads in a lot of different situations and employees' needs and employees who came through the pandemic, and you wanting to express that as part of your desire to improve your circumstances. So to me, from what I've heard and what I've seen, that coming before public comment today was a start. Coming back to public comment, because it doesn't sound like you quite finished what you had to say, could be a continuation of that start. And please come back during public comment, but then also go to your rank and file leaders and to your union as well, so you can follow the best process. But don't forego public comment and letting your voice be heard as you go along that path.
Commissioner Powell.
I'm sorry, and I just want to echo that, because we are going in our own direction, trying to figure a process, but I do not want you to get discouraged. Please, don't. Please, when you have a voice, we need to hear it, because I do know it has been told to staff, there is protocols, this, that, the other, but all of us at this table know politics play in leadership too. And yes, I said it. So sometimes employees do have to go around the curb, so at least it's heard. She didn't put it out there, it's on our radar, and I just think that it's great that all of us are encouraging to eventually let it go through protocol and come back to us. And just know you have some commissioners that will follow up on that to make sure something is discussed in regards to what you just laid on the table today. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you for your public comment.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else from the public wishing to comment? Public comment is closed, and we will declare this meeting adjourned at 12:08 PM. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Sorry.